All right, it is time, everyone. You know what time it is? It's D&D time! That's tomorrow. I don't know if Trust the Flump is still here. If not, well, I would urge you all to go over to D&D time. D-N-D, the three letters, the letter D, the letter N, the letter D, time. As a channel on Twitch. They broadcast some workshop stuff, and on Fridays, they involve 12 members of their community and take 3 different groups of 4 through an adventure each week. And, you know, the roster can change up. It depends on if you sign up or not. And I would encourage you, if any of you are looking to play, go to D&D time, and it's a lot of fun, awesome community. Very easygoing, and playing on Fridays with Pete and Jeremy is just a ton of fun. I got it as a gift. And it's very nice and universal, isn't it, Kitty Bird? Alright, so we have a... Yep. Tretch, I can't stay away from it. I took a break from it, in all fairness. I took a break. But when your local store has a sale on Cherry Coke Zero and Orange Vanilla Coke Zero, where you get 2 12-packs for $5, you better believe that I was on that like white on rice. It's metal. The best place to start for a new player, realizing that you're already a storyteller, and that Dungeons and Dragons is simply a set of rules that, you know, everyone can agree upon in order to tell a tale. You know, so just think about it. Do you have a favorite character out of a book, a movie, a comic, a manga, an animes? You know, one of them there Chinese cartoonies. Is there something that inspires you? A theme, a genre, just a moment where you say, "Oh, this is awesome." That's where you start. What will inspire you? Dessens. What will drive you and compel you and entertain you and challenge you? And from there, you could make a character. Pardon me. I would recommend picking up the Player's Handbook as well. If what you're doing to start out is playing D&D, Player's Handbook 100%. I mean, well, you know, if you want to play a Death Cleric or an Oathbreaker, I suppose that might be a little bit more advanced, but whatever. We'll call it a cool 97% of what you want to do is in the Player's Handbook. Even as a Dungeon Master, most everything you need is in the Player's Handbook. That would be a good place to start then. That's right, them there animes. I just don't understand them animes with them Mary Sue's characters. All right. Well, speaking of, are there creature NPC stat blocks in the Player's Handbook? Josh, the NES nerd. Why, I am glad that you asked. Because if you do go back to the back, there are some very basic monsters and beasts. Warhorse, zombie, skeleton. Now, a lot of these are because you can either use these as summons, or you can use them as, you could raise dead or whatnot. But, a lot of this also you can just replace Brown Bear with something else that is comparable. Very easy to swap stuff in 5th ed. So you get a lot of very good building blocks out of this. Is there anything you find super frustrating as a DM, both in-game or player-wise? It can be frustrating if you have players at your table that aren't paying attention. You know, when you say, you know, we're going to get together once a week, and we're setting our time aside, and we're going to eat together or talk together or whatever, and they just kind of zone out. You know, whether it's on a phone or something else, and, you know, you have to recap stuff, or you have to get their attention, like, hey, it's your turn. Come on, let's keep things going. While I am the dungeon master, I also don't like being a tyrant, or feeling like I'm forcing you to play D&D. So, that can be a bit of a pet peeve. Sometimes, and that's something that, you know, private groups and public groups, when I say public, I run an open game of D&D at the store on Thursdays. We're currently going through Tomb of Annihilation. And so, I mean, in a public game, especially because it's D&D 101, you know, some younger people are playing, or maybe they don't really get some things. I don't get frustrated having to explain rules or looking stuff up. But I've gone through some trying times, Josh, that, or I'm sorry, not Josh, but, Nelshear, where I've had friendships at risk over the campaign that I was running. And not just between me and the player, but between two players who held very opposing viewpoints over the content that we were running. And so there's times where I just stopped the session early. I had to. I mean, I didn't want things to get to that point. You know, playing D&D is fun. It's not worth ruining a friendship. And it's the oddest. I mean, it's almost surreal if that happens. It's a compliment because you're telling such a story that it's coming to this point. At the same time, it's so frustrating because you want to sit and run D&D instead of calling the session short and telling everyone, all right, we just got to cool off. We're going to come back next week, and I hope that we have resolved what we need to resolve. And if not, you know, we'll see where this goes or doesn't from here. Yeah, nobody knows the troubles I've seen. I don't mind if a player zones out, be it a player alongside me or one you're running for. It's a part, though, Josh, of the frequency or the severity and or the cause of zoning out. Because if there's 4 or 5 people at a table and we're in the middle of combat, or we're in the middle of telling a compelling story, and I can't compete with almost nothing new happening on a Facebook feed, then what does that tell me as a dungeon master? I'm not compelling. I'm not worth the time or attention. Clearly my storytelling needs improvement. Or I'm just running a piss poor story. Right? If I can't compete with constantly refreshing a web page or texting someone in a non-emergency fashion, then I don't know. The person sitting at my table, I mean, we could certainly blame them, or if it's blameless, then it's the dungeon master who can't seem to hold a person's attention, especially in the middle of a heated combat, where you have to go, hey, come on. Hey, your turn, what are you doing? Oh, I want to cast a spell. Okay, what are you casting? What's going on the board? Ah! Now, does that happen often? I mean, I don't know. Everyone's different. Every play group is different. Every, every person is different. So I don't want to make that seem like this is somehow like, an infection that's riddling Dungeons and Dragons, to its core, corrupting things, and D&D players are just, unattentive and literally the worst. Because that's not the case. But in those situations, it's frustrating. Well, yeah, and that's why, Josh, I said it's things like the cause, the severity, or how frequently it happens. Because if you're constantly zoning out in my game, Josh, that means that, honestly, you probably need to go home and sleep. And you're doing yourself and everyone else a favor by not playing. And I don't say that in a bad way, because if you're zoning out and need to take, a step back to get for everyone to progress forward again, something's going on. And I hope that you can resolve it. The occasional space out, but, again, it's frequency. What's happening? How long does it last? Are you showing up every week, but you don't really engage? You don't try and talk to people. You don't really throw dice. You're, in combat, you're just always reactive. And in that case, why are you showing up and playing? So, there's different play styles also. Some people just love being the passenger. They want to be, and I don't mean this in a really an insulting fashion, but you want to be the bump on the log. You want to go for the journey down the river or whatever. You want to, hear what people are saying and be a part of it. And that's fine, because some DMs, want or need people like that as a part of their group. But depending on the participation or how much it could set things back, that's when you can run into problems. It's an infection-riddling society in general. As a Pokemon Go player, I can say yes. Delcorin, why get a sequel? We need to reboot Spaceballs. Alright, let's go to our handy-dandy random character random roll randomizer rolliness of character randomization goodness. That's right. We're going to open up our dice roller, as I hear that's an important part of creating a character. Ooh, pardon me. The first thing we're going to roll, do we have a female character, a male character, or a multi-class character, in which case, we'll roll again. 33, we have a female character. Now for the races, I'm going to roll a d10. We rolled an 8. So we have a human. I'm going to roll a d10, and we're going to go odds or evens for a standard or a variant human. And we rolled another 8, so that's evens. We have a variant human. All right, so a female variant human that is of the disposition. We're going to roll a percentile. We rolled 100. A chaotic evil. Dun, 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 dun. Chaotic evil. They're medium-sized. Female variant human. Yep, and you know what, Josh? Josh, the NES nerd? You bring up a good point. Anytime you're on social media, it really just keeps you humble and helps keep you centered. If you realize that everything that's posted on social media, everything on Discord, everything on Twitter, everything on Facebook, everything posted happens while people are pooping. And if you go through life with that in mind, it can, number one, lead to some very interesting and, humorous situations. It can help calm you down if someone says something that gets your blood pressure up. And it also keeps you humble. I'm a bit of a passenger player myself. I don't care about loot or what I'm fighting or some epic tale for my character. I want to see the story the DM is laying out and figure out my character's role with that. And that's fine, right, Tal? I mean, as long as you're not... But you still want to engage. You don't have to be, you know, actively doing everything. You can still engage. But if you're showing up and you say you want to do this, but you keep losing focus, or, you know, I have to explain things 3 times because, you know, in what I'm presuming is a succinct manner, that's when it's problematic. Not that you could be a passive player and still be excellent. I don't think I'd ever feel comfortable playing an evil character. If you can, I ain't judging, but I won't be able to feel comfortable with it. Variant as in deviant? Oh, I don't know. She might be lewd. We'll find out. Facebook is a soap opera every 10 minutes. That's a good way of putting it, Bubonic. And you know what, Josh? This might be an interesting way. If you have questions then about running an evil character, or, you know, how can you have a chaotic evil character in a party like this, or at all? Hey, as this stuff comes up, ask. This is a workshop for a reason. I may not change your mind on wanting to play an evil character, and that's perfectly fine. But if I can also address some questions or concerns you have, and not just me, but other people who've played evil characters, we win. We've won. We win, etc. So there we go. We have a chaotic evil character. We're going to generate her at level... I rolled a 29. We're going to generate her at level 7. That means we'll get the opportunity to have 1 feat instead of an ability score improvement at level 4. I'm going to roll a percentile and let's find out if she takes the feat or not. Nope. She is au natural. Alright, next up. Her background. There are 18 backgrounds if you split out kind of the sub-backgrounds. I'm going to generate an 18-sided die, and we're going to figure out which background she is. 2. She is a charlatan. Very good. Now, charlatans have a preferred con, and so we're going to roll a d6 for this as well. Now, I don't know what the d6 is going to mean offhand, and it doesn't rightly matter right now. 4. Now I'm going to generate her 2 personality traits with 2d8, and then her ideal bond and flaw with 3d6. So we have 4, 8, 6, 2, 6, 5. There we go. We have our placeholders. Again, I don't know what they mean, and for right now, it doesn't matter. I want us to form an initial image. I want to build the bones, and then we'll put the muscle and the meat on her. I want to throw the stars in the sky, and then let's look at it and make a constellation out of it. That's what we're doing right now. Now it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to roll the big golden D12 and to figure out just what her class is going to be. You ready? Three. She is a cleric. Ooh, 2 clerics in the party. And specifically, she is a cleric of what? Why don't we roll a d8 and find out? Seven. Trickery. A trickery cleric. Let's see. I'm gonna get some a little bit more musical here. There we go. Getting a little more intense, huh? Incoming also nature. That'd be very interesting, Tesla, if we did roll nature again. When you guys played evil characters, was it the most evil thing your character did? Or what was it? I haven't played an evil character, I don't think. As a player, I don't think I've played an evil character. I will have the opportunity on D&D time. I made a character on stream that is chaotic evil, and I will run that on D&D time because it was an amazing character. Very compelling, a lot of fun, and I await that opportunity. But of course, as a dungeon master, I play all the evil characters, right? So I've done some evil stuff in my time as a dungeon master. Oh, yeah, 12-sided, of course. In VTM... in VTM, yes. So in that case, in D&D, I haven't played an evil character. Yeah, an evil character may think they're doing good. It's very rare. You're going to have someone who gets up in the morning, stretches, looks in the mirror and says, I'm evil, and I'm going to do bad guy stuff today. Exactly. Everyone is the hero in their own story. And Josh, another way to look at evil is more that the character is selfish and places self-importance and their own goals above those of others or other individuals or society. All right, now, we don't need to worry about any class features for the Cleric because it's all just self-contained. Now, we have a human. Let's find out how old our human is. I rolled a 77. We have a middle-aged female human trickery cleric charlatan. For middle-aged tier, we're going to start at 44, and we're going to add 1d 19 years. We're adding 9 years. So we have a 53-year-old. She is going to start at 4 feet 8 inches tall. We're going to add 2d10 inches to her height. We're adding 14 inches. So she is 5'10". And now we're going to multiply that 14 by 2d4 and add that to our base weight. By 4. So we're going to add 66 pounds. 176 pounds. There we go. 53 years old, 5'10", 176 pounds. Are we creating a spy master here? We very well may, Zuler Pie. We may inadvertently be making an evil party with how this is setting up. I mean, we want to talk about the concept of evil or things, or people who are just evil by their affiliations or something along those lines. We might be ending up, though, in that direction, and that's perfectly fine. Hedonism bot from Futurama would be chaotic evil, says 12-sided. Yeah, extremely selfish. Everything is about hedonism bot. Doesn't really care about other people. And something to keep in mind, Josh, is that, so here we have a chaotic evil person. If you're chaotic evil, it doesn't mean you wake up in the morning and you say, I'm an evil person and I have to do more random things than organized things. And it also doesn't mean that you are compelled to burn down orphanages and kick puppies on your way to work or whatever you're going to do. You know, the example I use, you can very much hold a faith of, you know, the god or goddess of light or love. And pray and hope that one day you'll find love too. And you make a donation in kind to the church based on your faith, a deeply held belief. And you're donating to this organization knowing that it is going to build another orphanage for children who's lost the loves of their lives, their parents, or something along those lines. Or they're war orphans, or it's going to widows, or, you know, something that we can probably all pretty much agree is a good end. You can do that, and you could still be chaotic evil. What does the chaotic mean? It means you're impulsive. It means that you are just more impulsive than you're not impulsive. Even if it's 51 to 49, impulsive versus methodical. You are just more impulsive. Okay, being impulsive? Sure. I know impulsive people. Does it mean that they're evil or bad? Only if they're not paying attention in a D&D game. So what does the evil portion mean? It means that they're more self-centered, right? They put themselves first. Is that in itself necessarily bad or evil? Ebenezer Scrooge isn't, you know, a supervillain. He put himself first. Now, he's miserly, and people look at him and say, oh, he's the cranky old coot. And that's fine. But is he evil? Now, he's probably more lawful evil in that case. But here we have someone who is self-centered. She is self-centered, and she is spontaneous. Willing to take up a challenge, willing to, you know, take a risk. Or is willing to wait something out instead of taking action. Because that's her gut feeling. That's her instinct. She can't tell you why. She doesn't have a system to check whatever, like someone else may. Right? She's more emotional. She's not as logical. That could be another way of looking at it too. So please, for all of you out there watching this now or later on YouTube, do not think that a chaotic evil character has to murder children and burn down horses. I was going to say houses, but sure, you can burn down a horse. You know, you don't have to look like you're a psycho. You don't have to dress in mismatched whatever and have, you know, kind of like Joker lips or anything like that. You know, the pancake makeup and all that. You can, but you do not have to. And watch now as we further develop this character's personality, and we will apply it to her alignment, which is simply the way she expresses herself. It's her filter, or lack thereof, from brain to mouth, or brain to hand. Or, you know, eyes and ears going in, how she perceives information in the world around her. And so watch as this chaotic evil character is going to bloom, okay? Cloaking Dust, hello and welcome. Ah, yes, Bubonic. All right, so where were we? We had finished our random prompts. Remember, this is the one place on Twitch where RNG is absolutely wonderful, and we want more of it. Now it is time, class. Open up your player's handbooks, please, to Chapter 4. Why Chapter 4? Well, of course, you should know by now. That's where we're going to find our backgrounds. And that's where I want our characters to start. At this point in time, I don't care about the race. I don't care about the class. I want to know who this person is. Because this set of circumstances could very well befall a dwarf. Or a dragonborn. Or a triton. Right? Or a bugbear. We'll worry about that stuff a little bit later. I want to know, in this character's heart of hearts, who is she? How does she act? What does she do? And more importantly, why? You ready? Don't get nervous. You can do this, everyone. You have the power. You have the touch. You have the power. And if you don't like that, then you know what? You can dare to be stupid, like Weird Al sang. And it was covered in the Transformers movie. Let's dare to be stupid together, everyone. That way, or at least let me dare to be stupid, and I'll cover for you all. All right, Charlatan, here we go. We have training in deception and sleight of hand. We have tool proficiencies in a These Guys kit and a forgery kit. In fact, that was last time we made characters. Ooh, I thought we were gonna have another connection here, but you know what? We're good. We're good. Our equipment is going to be a set of fine clothies. Also a disguise kit. Tools of the con of your choice. Well, let's take a look. We're Charlatan number 4. What does that mean? I put on new identities like clothes. I'm just going to keep the number 4 up here. I put on new identities like clothes. Ooh. So we have an impersonator, an impostor. Interesting. In that case, if we have tools of the con of our choice, then that might give us like a couple costumes, right? Costumes / IDs. Now, these ones that we have in our inventory are going to be different from the one that we're getting in our background feature, and I'll explain that in just a moment. We are also going to get a belt pouch, and we're going to have 15 gold pieces to spend on extra equipment. Yay. It could be fun, Josh. I think you can do it. And yes, you know, even these chaotic evil characters understand there are repercussions for their actions. Circling back a moment, the comedian is often cited as chaotic evil, and he was one of the good guys. Yes, 12-sided. And for those of you who don't know, the comedian is from The Watchmen, which I would urge you all to read. And if you want after, watch the movie. But I would encourage you all to read The Watchmen. All right, so we have our scheme. We are an imposter. You know, we could even put that here. An imposter or an impersonator. Now, our background feature is a false identity. You have created a second identity that includes documentation, established acquaintances, and disguises that allow you to assume that persona. Additionally, you can forge documents including official papers and personal letters as long as you have seen an example of the kind of document or the handwriting you're trying to copy. That's different than just having some general, like... There's a difference between being or acting like a policeman, knowing the code, knowing the lingo, right? Your stance. We're talking about an entire persona. and an entire different methodology to existing, as opposed to just having a police uniform and trying to squeeze by. Because in a pinch, you know, or if people are distracted, that just a disguise can provide you some cover. But the false identity, even amid the other costumes, is different because this is a different person. In fact, I would argue we can almost make a micro, like a second character for this one. Because she has this identity, and it is very compelling. Hi, Daily, and then start the series on HBO for, Wait, there's a Watchmen series on HBO. I was not aware of that. Am I very far behind in this? All right. Her personality traits. Remember, chaotic evil trickery cleric, who's an impostor charlatan. Let's go to personality traits. Number 8. I pocket anything I see that might have some value. Oh, it's about to start. Oh my. Watchmen starts as soon as Chernobyl ends. Need something to fill the Game of Thrones spot. Yeah. Until the spin-off starts. I saw a Saturday Night Live bit about that. Which, I mean, it may very well happen. There was actually, I mean, there was a side story that was really good in Game of Thrones. It was like its own, like, kind of one-shot book that went back into the past a little bit. And I thought it was really cool. It explains how the Fossaways have the red apple and green apple, and it explains some other things that I don't want to get into. But yes. Oh, that's the series that's already confirmed as the extension of Game of Thrones. Gotcha. Okay. Well, the one that I was, the one that I thought about was, I don't think that was in Fire and Blood. It was its own thing. I was gonna say Egg of the King, but that is a different, that's a different concept entirely. Audible, you won't fail me, will you? I'm going back in time, everyone. Ah, yes, there we go. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Let me catch back up in chat here. Does the personality trait mean like greed, or if it has any value, like it's valuable to someone else, not just monetary? The personality trait is how this person thinks and operates. It's a guideline for role-playing through the character's decisions and decision-making. Tesla asks, you know a book of real political intrigue about to come out this summer? Rod Rosenstein's FISA applications. Unfortunately, that went over my head, Tesla. I'm sorry. Chaotic Evil kinda, I want it because you want it and you'll miss it. You know, in its own way, Nelshir, children are chaotic evil, right? They're very impulsive and they can be very selfish. And, you know, and so they take action not necessarily realizing the consequences or don't fathom the consequences. You know, so they'll take a lollipop from another kid. That's a chaotic evil action. And they did it simply because they wanted it. That's their justification. I can see this woman running a school for spies, a game really like D&D, where they pay for fake thrills, but now the not child high elf joins and they get into a real spy mission in real danger. Ooh, Zulurpai, you're 2 steps ahead here, binding the characters together. Knight of the Seven Kingdoms was also a graphic novel. Yes, they've been turning those stories into a really solid graphic. You know, it's not really cartoonicized. It's drawn, but I mean, it's still mature content. Given her background, this could mean value as anything she can steal to help her con or further establish. Yeah, I mean, so in this case, Zulurpai, this could be the Fagin style character, right? The one who takes in the wayward children and gives them a life skill and reaps the benefits of their information, therefore sending out spies who can reap the benefits of their information. Someone who can also, you know, get the monetary or physical, like, commodity rewards. Given her background, this could mean value. Okay, yep, there we go. All right, so I pocket anything I see that might have some value. And personality trait number 6. Sarcasm and insults are my weapons of choice. Ah. This could lead to some excellent role-playing. And if you ever have a character that's kind of like this, it doesn't hurt to keep a note of some jokes or some kind of sassy comebacks or things along those lines. And it might be a little awkward at first. You have to develop a rapport with the other players and even with the DM. But once you get into it and you hit that groove, oh man, sling those insults. Wield sarcasm like a deadly dagger. All right, her ideal is number 2. Fairness. I never target people who can't afford to lose a few coins. Now, again, let's roleplay through this. Whoa. Whoa. That is clearly, it says in parentheses right over there, that is clearly a lawful ideal. How dare you make a chaotic evil character that has a lawful ideal of fairness? How does that work? Immersion ruined. 2 out of 10 would literally never play D&D with you again. This is dumb. You're dumb. The system is dumb. Yeah, Zulurpai has been doing a lot of thinking about getting kind of an Oliver Twist style connection between the party members that we've been developing. Given the party makeup, she could totally be a cleric of the god of the other cleric in the party worships. She swears. Oh. Yeah, that was a feature, wasn't it? That older Tyrell woman from Game of Thrones come to mind, the one that hangs out in the flower garden all the time. Hey, Victor, welcome. All right, so how in the heck can you have someone who's chaotic evil that believes in fairness? Why not? Why can't the person be fair? The prompt that we don't have to take literally can suggest that maybe it's at our own discretion. I never target people who can't afford to lose a few coins. It's just her thing. If someone is honestly so destitute, right? They're missing a leg, they look diseased. I mean, it could be a really low bar. But even she won't sink that far in her moral limbo to, you know, steal out of a crippled beggar's cup. Or, look at it this way. How can she blend fairness with her chaotic evil expression of herself? Yes, she takes in kids. Yes, she fosters them. She gives them an education. She would never steal from kids. In fact, if anything, she provides a living for the kids. An education, room and board, lessons in faith. because these kids can't afford to lose anything else because they have nothing. And so she takes them in, and she treats them fairly by giving them all these things. Now, that sounds pretty good. What does she give them? Well, she teaches them how to steal from others. She teaches them how to survive on the streets. She teaches them how to read body language. Or how to, you know, put on some tears to get some sympathy. And then take advantage of the situation, right? To strike. To think creatively. To think quickly. That's extremely fair to her. She'll have no problem breaking into, you know, an opulent manor of a wealthy merchant. Right? In her opinion, those people can afford to lose a couple coins. Or some equivalent. But think of the poor children. Or think of the other people that she may even serve as a cleric. Sure, she worships a trickster god. Trickster gods also do provide services to people. Beyond just being trolls to other gods or mortals. She may very well... And you want to say that, you know, she's not chaotic evil. She is a loyal, devout person who heals the sick and wounded. She removes the afflictions of disease and disability every chance she gets. That's not a Saturday. Because a Saturday is her day. Or, more accurately, it's her real, like, it's her true worship day. And being a trickster god, you must play tricks. And you know why you play tricks? Because if you don't keep people on their toes, they're gonna get lazy. And you know what happens to lazy people? They get taken advantage of. Pigs get fed. Hogs are taken to slaughter. She is providing a public service by pulling pranks through allegations or innuendo of blackmail, by keeping tabs on other people's certain behaviors or penchants. Because if people aren't staying frosty, if they are just going to stop challenging themselves, they're going to stagnate. And if these city leaders stagnate, if the common people stagnate, society stagnates. Society rots. Right? It suddenly is a putrescence of humanity. And that does nobody any good. And so if you can have a little fun and know that you're doing people a favor, right? If you catch wind that, you know, a particular block, a particular block of people are saying, oh, we don't have a volunteer fire brigade. What happens if there's a fire? And the city council goes, you know what? It's time for our good preacher to act. And she needs to make sure that these, you know, bumbling, burbling town council members, even if like a town council member comes from the slums, it might be time to set someone's house on fire. Now, maybe you send them a letter and you invite them out for dinner, and the house catches on fire while no one's home. You know, shame all your stuff got lost, but at least you didn't die. Oh, if only the fire brigade had been strengthened, I bet your house wouldn't have burned down like it did. Oh, it's a good thing you were at the restaurant with me. It's a good thing for me, I have an alibi. That's chaotic evil. And every day she wakes up believing she's performing a public service, and in her own way can even justify that service. Right? It's not even making excuses. She's providing blatant justification for her actions. She may not publicly declare them. She may claim that she is she's a follower of a nature goddess, because after all, you know, nature employs camouflage and stealth. Nature provides random mutations. You know, who can predict the pattern of bark? The wind blowing through the branches keeps the trees strong. So she may claim to be a nature, a priestess of a nature goddess. But of course, we know that that is a very comfortable skin for a trickster god to operate in, or to at least claim to be. Josh, if you're still here, I hope that this was an excellent exploration, not just of this character, but of how chaotic evil can work. It can still be methodical and thoughtful and justified. Exactly, 12-sided. A nice place you have here. Would be a shame if something were to happen to it. Hey, Nicklix. These are the same two cameras I've been using, though my main one is on a different, it's on a different stand. So the placement is a little different than it is. Gonna have to go to bed, but you've given me a lot to think about. Thank you. Good night. Hey, Josh, thanks for hanging out with us. Have a great night yourself. Bubonic one, you need a D6, exclamation point 1D6. And there you go, Bubonic, you got a 4. Steal from the rich and give to herself. Azrael says if they're destitute, they don't have anything worth taking anyway. Yeah, and she might not, you know, bring that up, but at least she'll say, well, I don't steal from the poor. The poor don't have anything to steal. Yes, Olena Tyrell. She did sarcasm and insults very well, yes. Just as much as she loved weaving, that was an expression of how she would weave in verbal insults and references. Well, I think she's more concerned with the physical goods, not just the emotional or spiritual ones. You're testing out your background delve, Bubonic. If I was chaotic evil, I'd steal the skin off their bones and the blood from their veins, says Tesla. What is her bond? Number 6 is the answer to that, and number 6 is as follows. I swindled and ruined a person who didn't deserve it. I seek to atone for my misdeeds, but might never be able to forgive myself. All right, everyone, who did she swindle? She either had this personal code and violated it, or this personal code came about because she might have done something that Tesla was talking about. She might have accidentally, on purpose, or accidentally on purpose, robbed someone of their freedom, of their life, you know, of the eyes from their head, the blood from their veins. You know, what if she was asking for a spell and it went wrong? Or there was unintended consequences. You know, for the chaotic portion of her, you're not concerned with the butterfly effect because you're the one hatching the butterflies. And you don't care where they go, you just want to keep producing them because they look pretty. And you want to spread the enjoyment to others. So when we're developing this character, I swindled and ruined a person who didn't deserve it. I seek to atone for my misdeeds, but might never be able to forgive myself. What if she swindled and ruined the priest that was here that was actually the nature priest? Maybe she dug some dirt up on him and went for a power play when she was younger, or went for the ultimate trick and it backfired, and the guy died because of it, or was driven off, or just whatever, excommunicated, or something happened. And when she realized the impact that this person had, yes, someone who did something bad was exposed, or a corruption, or honestly, she just wanted to drop a bucket of, whatever. She wanted to drop a bucket of water in the guy's head. It was all supposed to be a prank. And she didn't know that the water would freeze at night. And so when she came back to check on her prank and found out that, 10 gallons of frozen water crushed the dude's skull, killing a very wonderful person in the community who didn't deserve to die, maybe that's when she decided she had to step up. How about that? All right. Cash me outside. She's a conflicted person, works with chaotic. Yes, Zulerpie. Hey, Terror, welcome back. And hello, Mr. Wolfie. Swindled a lover, then the lover died due to the theft. Oh. That could be compelling as well, Terror. Stole Ms. Marvel's powers and memory, says Nicolix. The ultimate trick, like escaping from a water tank. Driven into madness because she swindled into his little grave hole and let those horrible demons he was holding back. Nelshir says, for the child prodigy's informant who was imprisoned was linked to the chaotic evil cleric. Oh! Nelshir, we're paying attention. We're making connections between the party members, which when one character is drawn into the story, everyone else is going to get sucked in as well. That could be really cool, Nelshir. Rip, dead by bucket. Zulerpie said she could have swindled someone by their job without knowing who it was. A mistake, but Dems to berries. Seems improbable. Wouldn't the water freeze in the bucket? It doesn't mean it couldn't slide out. It couldn't slide out of the bucket. She couldn't read yet and thought ACID was spelled water. Oh, so she was a young little scamp and dumped a bucket of acid instead of water. Or even worse, it could have been a bucket of dihydrogen monoxide. Oh my gosh. Have you all seen what dihydrogen monoxide does? It literally kills people. Perhaps that's even who her alternate identity is, who the priest was. 12-sided! 12-sided Mabuki. I think you're onto something there. As a charlatan, she gets a false identity that has all its papers and everything. And who better to play a priest than a priest? Or a cleric than a cleric? She carried some girl? Or the bucket simply fell down instead of dropping? No, dihydrogen monoxide is evil. Yeah, a lot of people, I think, ended up getting hurt. I don't know if anyone ever died from that ice bucket challenge. But when people tried to do that and they use like styrofoam containers, I see some of those videos, and man, if those people don't have a sore neck afterwards, like I seriously hope that no one died or like got to become a quadriplegic because of a very poor choice of bucket for the ice water. Tesla says this is sounding awfully a lot like Alfred Borden in The Prestige. I think I've seen that movie. That has Snick Snick Bub Snicked in it, doesn't it? I forget his name. Every person who has consumed dihydrogen monoxide has died. What a world we live in. 2019, everyone. Our government can't even do anything about dihydrogen monoxide. It's a magician movie with Batman and Wolverine. Yes, that's the one. Thank you. Hugh Jackman. Thank you, thank you. See, they get you coming and going, Age of Tesla. Oh, excellent, excellent. Oh my gosh, this is awesome creativity. I'm feeling the flow of the mojo here. All right, what is her flaw? Her flaw is number 5. I can't resist swindling people who are more powerful than me. You want to talk about conflict? You want to talk about how this bond could have come to be? I can't resist swindling people who are more powerful than me. Now, a swindle can be, you know, a heist. It could be thieving something through sleight of hand. It could be getting blackmail material. It could honestly just be going and asserting her dominance, right? She dresses up as someone who is also powerful and just asserts herself. Has someone act contrary to who they're supposed to be. And then she feels better about herself for it. I can't resist swindling people who are more powerful than me. That flaw can be very compelling. This person is a very good party leader, even if it's for the not the best reasons. You're gonna log out for the night? All right, Bubonic. Thank you for spending some time with us tonight. Oh my gosh, this character, all these characters, starting from the 1st and now we're on the 4th, and this just keeps getting better and better and better. Oh, what an amazing process. My little hot flutters. So here we go. Her false identity is a nature domain cleric that accidentally died to one of her early tricks. Boom. This stuff writes itself, folks. It writes itself. It's all there. And all we had to do was put an eyeball on it to get the connection. This is not a character to be played by someone just going along for the ride. Yes, this is more of a driven character. This is more of a go-get-em play style. You are absolutely correct, Zulurpai. A more passive player would not be able to play this character. And that's fine. Not all characters can be played by everyone. You know, if you get someone who always plays a variant human Kronk the Barbarian Berserker because they want to kick indoors and fight monsters and they don't want to think about things and they don't want to feel feelings, you know, they're not going to have a fun time playing a wizard or even a rogue because that's not their playstyle. And we all have favorite playstyles. I'll challenge you to mix up your playstyle. You know, do you always play the elf in the party? Do you always play the cleric in the party? Do you always play the elven cleric in the party? Mix it up. It's okay. There's other races than elves. There's other roles to play than divine ones. I promise. I promise. And I'm having fun with y'all. If you love playing elves, I mean, play elves, but it doesn't hurt to mix it up. You could just be the berserker mage who blasts the door open with fire. Kick in monsters and fight doors. There you go, 12-sided. That is thinking outside the box. Or Lightning or Sonic. The Dwarf campaign players and their army of 421. Oh, yeah, that's right, because you're doing mass combat, Victor. Have been summoned to attend the Corpse Emperor's Crusade to the orc-infested continent of Ulanor. Oh, I hope that goes well for you. Lena Inverse. Oh, gosh. Or Megumin, who is this generation's Lena Inverse. And I guess I can say that now. I'm old enough to say stuff like that. I accept it. I got it. I got it. I'm fine. We have do we have to fill in anything else on this character sheet? Honestly, do we? I think we have a pretty good idea of who this character is already. But you know what? Let's go through the motions, huh? All right, now being a human means that, well, this is pretty short. We have no dark vision. We do have 30 feet of movement. Oh man, no other race gets those. And because we are going for a variant human, we get 2 ability scores increased by 1. We get a skill of our choice and a feat of our choice. So, I think our 1 and 1 can go into wisdom and charisma. I could also argue, and I'll open this up, I could also say intelligence instead of either, and I'm willing to put wisdom. I would be willing to throw wisdom away because you got to be smart to put on all these identities. But how would you want to distribute our 2+1s by being a variant human? I think any of the 3 mental stats could receive those and we'd be fine. You want to go charisma and intelligence? We can do that. Charisma and intelligence? Okay. We'll get proficiency in a skill of our choice. Well, we are a trickster cleric, and we did take over our false identity is from a nature domain cleric. And so that would probably lend us to taking nature as our skill. It doesn't have to, but that seems to be the, you know, a support, right? Let's use the information we have. I don't care what the other characters have skill proficiencies. We're not playing the game of fill in the gap and just take whatever someone else doesn't have. No, nay, nay. What skill would this character have? Cookie Booker? I don't get it. I'm gonna put nature, but if anyone disagrees, shout it out. And we could, what am I out? An electron or 2 for clicking a button? Forget about it. Depends on how long you assume or disguise needs some int to not lose yourself versus the impersonality of it. Well, for her false identity, she is fully steeped. She has a full set of papers and like a side apartment and assets in this other identity's name and everything. So it's a full manifestation of that character. Did my camera just freeze for you all for a little bit? Anyway. And we're gonna get a feat? Oh my goodness. Which feat are we gonna take, everyone? Was a freeze. Alright. That's fine. Oh, gotcha, 12-sided. You've been having glitches all night? Alright, so that's what we're getting for being a human. And now it is time to become a cleric. And we can hold off on the feat until we, you know, play with our scores and such a little bit. Let's become a cleric, everyone. We're level 7. Here we go. That's all we have to worry about. 4, 3, 3, 1. Our proficiency bonus is a +3. We have 4 cantrips that we know. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We are a D8 hit die class, so we have 7 D8 hit die to use to recover naturally, so we don't have to use magic. Kind of catch a second wind on a break. Light armor, medium armor, and shields. Light, medium, shields. All simple weapons. No tool proficiencies. Wisdom and charisma are saving throws. And then we choose 2 skills from history, insight, medicine, persuasion, and religion. I would definitely say religion because she is having to double dip in her religious duties. Looking at her background, fairness, I swindled and ruined a person. I can't resist swindling people are more powerful than me. I pocket anything I see, and sarcasm and insults are my weapons of choice. Persuasion could work. Sarcasm and insults might be intimidation. I mean, you could always ask your DM if you could replace that. History would give a good idea of like royal lineages and wealth and sort of the like factual history and not like classic mythologies of a people. She might very well know history, especially if she is a smarty pants, and we put that and we want to show her intelligence. You're going to bed. Good night, everyone. Black Wolf, have an awesome night. Be well. Persuasion, however, if she is a leader of people, I think persuasion would work very well. So why don't we do that? Angier was the charisma character that knew history, but Borden was the intelligent one who knew magic tricks. Is that another reference to the Prestige? We're going to start with the following equipment. A mace or warhammer proficient. So before we do that, we're going to get a couple things at level 1 from our domain. So, we're going to peek ahead a little bit. What do we get from our trickery domain? Starting when you choose this domain at first level, you can use your action to touch a willing creature other than yourself and give it advantage on stealth checks. This blessing lasts for 1 hour or until you use this feature again. All right, then. So yes, we have Blessing of the Trickster. Oh, we are going to get our Channel Divinity. So we're going to have Turn Undead. Because Cleric, generic Cleric gets that. But our special one here... Oh, you know what? This is one of the domains that gives us another option. And so we're going to get 1 at 2 and 1 at 4. So we're going to have Invoke Duplicity. Starting at 2nd level, you can use your Chan Div to create an illusory duplicate of yourself. As an action, you create a perfect illusion of yourself that lasts for 1 minute, or until you lose your concentration. The illusion appears in an unoccupied space that you can see within 30 feet of you. As a bonus action on your turn, you can move the illusion up to 30 feet to a space you can see, but it must remain within 120 feet of you. For the duration, you can cast spells as though you were in the illusion space, but you must use your own senses. Additionally, when both you and your illusion are within 5 feet of a creature that can see the illusion, you have advantage on attack rolls against that creature, given how distracting the illusion is to the target. And then we're going to get Channel Divinity, Cloak of Shadows. Starting at 6th level, you can use your Chan Div as an action. You become invisible until the end of your next turn. You become visible if you attack or cast a spell. There we go. And we're not 8th level yet, so we do not get Divine Strike. So I'm just going to back that one off. Let's go back now really quick like. So we're going to get a mace. Although you could probably ask, like, look, I have a trickster person. Am I going to be carrying a mace? Can you just give me a dagger or something kind of like that? I mean, it's a simple weapon. Maybe you find it more useful. But whatever. We'll stick with what we have, a mace. Scale mail, leather armor, or chain mail. She herself might do some sneaking? I don't know. She's an impostor. So if you're an impostor, you tend to actually want to peacock and present yourself. So being, fifth of a third. Welcome and thank you for the follow. A club, yeah, like a walking stick, like a quarterstaff. That could work out very well. Scale mail, leather armor, or chain mail. She's probably going to wear something like that she could put underneath clothes. And so I think leather armor would be the way forward for her there. Even though we can wear something beefier, I think leather armor is what she'd take. A symbolic mace, that could be Zulurpai. Looks like a giant key to the city. A light crossbow and 20 bolts or any simple weapon. Ah. Quarterstaff. There it is. A priest's pack or an explorer's pack? Oh, you bet she's rocking the priest's pack. She needs all of her priestly goodies that do things and appear to do things alike, because there's a difference with this character inside her pack. Right? She's the character in the Mummy. What's his name? Benny? And this is in the Brendan Fraser Mummy. When the mummy's coming up and he has like the necklace that has all of the religious, like whatever, and he says a prayer to like each god as the mummy's getting closer. You might have a key ring of different holy symbols depending on what's happening. Coffee Cat Comics says yar. Why are you yarring, Coffee Cat? We are going to get a shield and a holy symbol. She can use a shield. I honestly don't know how often she'd carry it. I mean, she could use it, but would she take it? I'm not so sure about that. Right? She's using disguise. She's using manipulation. A lot of the spells she takes are probably going to be things to, especially because she's selfish, right? She's chaotic evil. Are going to be things that will support her and protect her and restore her should she ever be caught. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write this shield down in her inventory. She has it. Doesn't mean that she uses it, though. Because I'm a pirate? Yar. Also, bedtime is close at hand. Well then, Coffee Cat, you never need an excuse to yar. You can yar your little kitty heart out. And if you got to go to bed, I salute you, Coffee Cat. So you know what? In almost every way, dark clothes, dagger on the hip, sneaks around, is going to look like a rogue until she's not. Oh, we do get Destroy Undead. It's not just turn. Yay. Destroy Undead. But we do not get Divine Intervention yet, so, it is what it is. Alright, CR 1/2 or lower. That's when we're destroying our undead. Alright. No real racial stuff, because that's the feat that we take. And so now at level 1, let's drop our scores in. And so I think we can get away with probably a really high charisma. I kind of want to put the 14 here. She's going to do a lot with her spells also. 15, 14, 13. Whoop. 15, 14, 13. Well, that should be, I'm sorry. 15, 14, 13, 12. Strength is probably not her greatest asset. Maybe we sacrifice some dexterity and put the dexterity at 12. That might be better. And then we put the 14 in wisdom. 15, 14, 13, 12, 10 constitution, and 8 strength. Gonna drop in and say hi? Well, yes. Hello and goodbye. We meet so soon only to part, Coffee Cat. But sleep well and we'll see you around later. Yes, a Friends reference. And, hey, I don't know. What do y'all think of this? Is that good? That's going to put our intelligence up to a 14. That's going to put our charisma up to a 16. And you could very well be pulling your hair out going, dude, what are you doing? She's a cleric. Your top score literally has to be wisdom. You can't play a cleric if you literally don't have the highest wisdom ever at all times. Literally. Did I say literally? You literally can't. And you are incorrect, Mr. or Miss Literally. This is fine. You could do a lot of stuff with a cleric like this. Now, we do get an ASI, right? At level 4, we can drop 2 points into something. You want to drop 2 points into wisdom? Bada boom. Look at that. Our wisdom goes up to 16. Hey. And now we take a feat. Those are found in chapter 6. A couple things that come to mind automatically are actor. Increase your charisma score by 1. You have advantage on deception and performance when trying to pass yourself off as a different person. And you can mimic the speech of another person or sounds made by other creatures. This one definitely seems like this will work. However, another interesting one would be inspiring leader. You can spend 10 minutes inspiring your companions, shoring up their resolve to fight. When you do so, choose up to 6 friendly creatures, which can include yourself, within 30 feet of you who can see or hear you and who can understand you. Each creature can gain temporary hit points equal to your level plus your charisma modifier. A creature can't gain temporary hit points from this feat again until it has finished a short or long rest. We have someone who's inspiring, someone who runs a network of others, is a leader style. Inspiring leader could very well give all of the kids that she's taught, or whatever, these temporary hit points, right? You get in a jam, someone takes a swing at you, the temporary hit points can simply be like luck points. You know, it's damage you would have taken in some variety, but luck has saved you. You know, this is a trickster god. Of course, you know, luck is going to play into things. Inspiring leader could work very well. And depending on how flexible your DM is, remember, we have a necromancy wizard. We have a necromancy wizard in the party. Your DM might determine that your inspiring leader can affect the undead created by the necromancer. Come up with a roleplay reason why. Pitch it to your DM. And now, not only have your zombies or skeletons been buffed by your specialty in necromancy, they have also been buffed again by this inspiring leader trait. So Henry V had, yeah, because so yeah, you can grant a couple extra hits. Fifth of a third, thanks for the welcome. This channel looks awesome. Well, I'm glad that we appear to be. We're a bunch of people sitting at a table in a game store. We're doing some character creation, some storytelling. We're getting involved here. You're welcome to ask questions about D&D or whatever, you know, in general. We have a Discord you're welcome to join. If you like what we're doing here when I'm broadcasting, you should see all the cool stuff that we do just otherwise. How to play Dungeons & Dragons 5e by Don't Stop Thinking on YouTube. Oh, a reference to something? Or did I miss a question? Oh, hey, Lady Atara, I've been very well. I hope you have as well, and things have been very good for you. Nature has certainly been waking up all around us, man. I've seen goslings and even some little babby snakes slithering around, and everything's waking up, the land and the mammalls and everything. So I hope you're doing awesome sauce this spring, Lady Atara. Coffee Cat, this channel's perfect for new players. Oh, thank you for saying so. Oh, and you know what, Fifth? I did miss your comment. I'm sorry, I was on a soapbox. I was so inspired by talking about inspiring leader. Hi all, I'm extremely new to D&D, and I'm super interested in learning more. Any tips on where to look for beginner guides? YouTube channels, blogs? Ah, yes. Well, Fifth, we have a mentor network you can join on our Discord. You can hang out here. You can always ask questions. Even if it doesn't seem immediately relevant to what I'm talking about, throw a question out there. Because you'll find that I won't just be the only one to answer. You'll find other people in chat. And they can even give you different opinions than mine, which then turns your information gathering into a buffet of choices. And that empowers you. It does seem very good, Zuler Pie, especially for a character like what we're developing. You are the best shamblers on the field. Now get out there and eat those brains, says Azrael. I mean, we could do things like linguists so she can talk to a lot more people. We could... I mean, if we're really worried about her... Well, no, her strength score's not high enough for that. Never mind. If she wanted to dabble with some of her disguises, we could give her Magic Initiate in some other kind of magic. And then, so she could, like, talk to wizards and do some, like, wizard stuff. But I don't know if that's necessarily, like, she can do it, or she could do enough to come close. I don't know. I think actor or the leader one are going to be really good. Skulker might work. You can hide if you're lightly obscured. That sort of stuff. It gives her, like, dim light vision, not dark vision. And for a human, you know, that's not bad. The fourth ghost, what's poppin'? We are making a fantastic randomly generated character. Very compelling, very cool. Yeah, fifth of a third, welcome. We're happy to have you aboard. It's a very uplifting, positive community. It's not contrived. You know, it's not an everyone gets a trophy kind of a thing. This is people who are creative, who want to challenge themselves to think or to teach their skills and experiences to others. Especially newcomers are very welcome here because we want to help you learn and enjoy. I don't know. I'm really digging inspiring leader. I'm really digging that. She definitely has the charisma for it as well. All right, so with that, let's load in her scores here. I'm sorry, her modifiers. And then we're going to fill in her modifiers for her skills and saves. Fourth ghost. Follow me if you want to live. Although you already have. So, congratulations. You live. Thank you. That means a lot to me that you also have found us. You know, it's weird. I say you take the chance on clicking on this channel as if it's, you know, high risk, high reward. It can be. I mean, if you've ever clicked into a channel and, you know, you feel like the person just wasted your time, I hope that never happens to you. But, you know, you're like, I gave the chance on someone random. Maybe I'm just going to stick to the same people I watch always. You know, it could be intimidating going into a new channel, or if you see there's a lot of people or active chat, or even more especially, such as Fifth of a Third. You know, you're new to D&D and you're hopping into a channel full of D&D players. What do I say? Are they going to accept me? Is there kind of a, you know, kind of a good old boys club going on where it's very insular and we don't welcome, you know, we don't take kindly to them's what don't take kindly around these here parts. And yet, you know, here, you all as newcomers, you know, you've lurked a little bit, presumably. You've listened to who I am. You've read about who the others are in the community. You like who we are and what we do, and you took that chance. You clicked on us, you're talking, and hopefully you'll join us in our Discord community, too. And that this is going to be the beginning of something awesome for you all. I love meeting new people. Because I get to learn from you. I may be the face on camera, but I learn so much from you all out there. All right, if we're attacking with our spells, spells, we're going to roll a +6, proficiency plus wisdom, because that's what we're casting off of. And to resist the effects of our spells, our target needs a 14, because you always add 8. It's a static 8. 8 plus your attack modifier. Nice and easy. Our initiative's a +1. Our armor class is 12, right? If we don't normally carry a shield around, leather gives you a base 11 plus dex. Our dex is 1. There you go. Passive perception is 10 plus your perception modifier. You don't need to roll everything all the time. Your passives, including passive investigation or even passive insight, oh, marvelous things, and I would encourage DMs to use those. Her hit points. At level 1, you get your maximum hit die and hit points, so that's 8. For her remaining 6 levels of her 7, you get half plus 1 of your hit die. So half of 8 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Bada boom. Then for all 7 levels, you get bonus hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. Well, in this case, it's 0. So this is easy math. 30 plus 8, we have 38 hit points at level 7 with this character. If we're swinging a strength-based weapon, well, we have a +2 to hit, because we're proficient at least. And then we have, I think that's a 1d6. 1d6 minus 1 damage, and also 1d6 minus 1 damage. However, it does become a 1d8 if you're wielding it in 2 hands and it's versatile. So we're going to rely more on our spells than perhaps our... Now, if this was a finesse weapon, or otherwise a weapon we can use dexterity, let's just change this to a dagger instead of a mace. This goes to be a +4, because we can use our dexterity stat. And so this actually becomes a 1d4 plus 1. Piercing. Ta-da. Well, everyone, she is no longer a pile of stats. She gets a name. And so what is the name of her primary identity going to be? And another question. Is this her real name? Or is this a made-up name? Let alone the one for her other her false identity. I don't want to say her other self. It's not like a split personality, or it's not like she's twins. Now, as a cleric, we are going to get some domain spells that will always be available to us as long as we have slots through which we can cast those spells. And we can prepare an extra number of spells off the cleric spell list equal to our cleric level plus our wisdom modifier. So we can prepare 10 spells in addition to our domain ones. We're going to get 4 cantrips that we can sit down and disguise and decide here in a little bit. I'm not going to worry about necessarily right offhand. Our spell slots for this level are there, 4, 3, 3, 1. Our spellcasting ability is wisdom. Let's see, we had a 14 for a save, and that was a +6. And let's get her domain spells. Da-da-da. As a trickster, we get Charm Person and Disguise Self. We will get Mirror Image and Pass Without Trace. We will get Blink and Dispel Magic. And our 4th level spells will be Dimension Door and Polymorph. Ooh, nice. Ha! She can turn herself into the animal companion for the ranger. That may not be, like, efficient in combat, per se. It'd be interesting. But you could do a lot. Oh my gosh, this group gets so much more interesting the more that we think about this stuff. Luck is a good feat in general, but I like the leader one. Yeah, and so Terror, Lucky is generally a good feat to take, and so in all the times we've generated characters, I've only ever given Lucky once to a character because their conditions made them honestly seem like they were extremely lucky. But because it's generally good, I don't like giving it out because then it's not special. I want the luck to mean something, you know? Nala Smithee as a name. So Nala Smithee is what, her real name? Or is that the name of her nature, like her nature priestess identity? Or her trickster priestess identity, or like her street name or something? Is it a street name or a government name? Mabel has a sincere, innocent sound to it. Mabel could go for the nature, right? You sound like Mabel. Either or it works. Alan Smithee is what a writer or director will use when they don't want their name attached to a project. Oh, I did not know that. That's really cool. Mabel Stirrup. Mabel Stirrup. Is that when she turns into a horse through polymorph? Mabel Fagan's daughter? Yeah, I have to put the umlaut over the O. Yes, that is correct. On this version of a character sheet, this would allow you. I'll zoom in a little bit on it here. This allows you to more easily split your hit dice. So let's say that our Trickster Cleric wanted to pick up 5 levels of Barbarian. 5 D12 hit dice. Because then when you choose which hit die you want to use, when you're taking a rest, you can pull out of either pool. This is a very good one. I believe you can find it there still. Yes, it doesn't. It is far too lowbrow for those with 300 IQ, triple multi-classed characters. There we go, everyone. Oh my gosh, we have 4 awesome sauce characters, and they were all made through random generation, random dice rolls. You know, here's our dice roller. I mean, you can find this ! Dice. It'll take you to this the exact same roller that I've been using. And with a little bit of help from our random roll guide. Bunch of random numbers, and look at the amazing stuff that we're drawing from this. Now, one last step, because again, this week I want to continue to drive home the point. We can find inspiration for characters or stories or adventures or villains or NPCs out of our local papers. So I'm going to go to my local paper, and what's something that could inspire us? You know, we're talking about kind of trickster clerics. We're talking about nature clerics. We're talking about people who, you know, actually care after kids. We're talking about teachers. So here's something, right? If she benefits people who are in need, right? She doesn't steal from them, but she also gives kids opportunities. So let's say she gives out scholarships. You know, so here, the Sandusky Rotary Club awarded $6,000 in student scholarships. Well, if that's the case, you know, for her, maybe she hands out money so that these kids can get an education. And that is her civic duty. It could even be a religious compulsion. A Warhammer 40,000 first edition game? Are you talking about Dark Heresy, or are you talking about the miniature game? If she's choosing to, you know, if she's choosing to strike at community leaders or whatever. Now, in this case, the Margaretta schools have delayed their budget cuts. Oh, so apparently they were deciding that some budget cuts were needed for the schools. And what would happen? Well, so eliminating some positions, remove some people that were teaching kids. If she has a soft spot for kids, what if now translating this into fantasy as the prompt, this could be the source of an adventure. Find dirt on the board of schools, on the school board, and pressure them into making sure that no teachers need to be cut and that the kids still have a chance. It may not involve burning down a house. or to make sure that all the kids get books, what if the few kids that have books find that their books are suddenly missing, and now no kids have books? Oh. But kids need books. Well, yeah, you better go out and buy them. Ooh, pardon me. Oh, the war game that did. If I had the free time, Victor, there's a lot of things that I'd enjoy doing. And delving into, you know, in delving into Rogue Trader, not the role play, but that would be very interesting to try. The School of Bard Knocks. Let's see, anything else that we can... Other inspiration we can pull from the local news. Ezekiel, howdy, welcome. Ah, rehab center, filling beds in Erie County. Again, that this could be a charity outreach or something that she protects. People can't enjoy a good prank if they're whacked out of their gourds. Is she a spinster known as the able Miss Mabel? Well, she's... I don't know if she's a spinster, but she's definitely an impostor, an impersonator. Ah. This, yes. This is still unknown. So this was a like a car customization place that burnt down a while ago. And it caught on fire, and it's still being investigated because nobody knows how this building caught on fire and fell down, and the metal roof all you know, how this happened. It's a mystery, at least so far it is. And in a fantasy world, what caused this? Was this a place that was, you know, was this vengeance? Was this to send a message? Was this purely accidental? Our character has made accidents before. And so a mysterious fire is another source of inspiration then. She is middle-aged. Here, let's go to her. She's 5'10", 176 pounds. A D&D Murder, She Wrote vibe, except starring this character, says 12-Sided. Ezekiel, may I put in a character I created to see what people think? Yeah, Ezekiel, if you're on our Discord, you can go to our RP Mentor channel, and you can drop the character there, and myself and other RP mentors can give you some really good feedback on that character. Yeah, there could be insurance fraud involved. There's a lot of different things. I mean, it could have just been, I don't know, a random rat could have just stepped on something and caused an entire, destructive chain of events. I mean, I don't know what the odds of that happening are, but who knows? It's a crazy world. Yeah, Ezekiel, hey, we're happy to help out. I'd love to give you some feedback on that. See, now this is interesting too. A burglar alarm inside Highline went off at 11:51 p.m. and then again at 12:06 a.m. It's not clear whether the alarm was tripped by a person or the flames, but the alarm company didn't notify law enforcement or the business and property owners until 1:33 a.m. About an hour and 20 minutes after firefighters were at the scene. The plot thickens, and we're talking about our party of characters is about crime and conspiracy and about sending messages or making sure that justice is served one way or the other. And so they might pick up this case in order to solve it. They could have been the ones behind it. There's a lot of different ways we could take this kind of inspiration. All right, everyone, I'm going to get up and do another quick little stretch. I'm going to take a break, and when we come back, we can talk for a little bit longer. If you have any questions or things, we can go over that. Ezekiel, if you put the character in Discord, I might be able to bring it up in the meantime, and we can look over your character as well. So, alrighty, I'll be back shortly. Let's go freshen up, everyone.